And just days after the new Homeland Security Secretary was sworn in, the Department of Homeland Security is making changes, including a pause on the purchase of warehouses across the country intended to house immigrants.
Atlanta News First reporter Mary-Kate Hamilton is live in Oakwood, where Homeland Security has already purchased land. I think the big question now, Mary-Kate, is what does this mean for those purchases that have already been made?
Well, the Department of Homeland Security says those contracts will also be reviewed and scrutinized, and that comes after local community members have stepped out and voiced some concerns over the purchase of these facilities. And that does include here in Oakwood. I want you to take a look at the facility again that has already been purchased because it is sizable. The land was purchased in February and could house up to 1,600 people. The Department of Homeland Security was expected to spend about $158 million to retrofit the warehouse, and that's on top of the $68 million it cost them to buy it. And now, under new leadership, the Department of Homeland Security says, quote, "As with any transition, we are reviewing agency policies and proposals." This comes after several Oakwood residents spoke up at a city council meeting last month. They asked if there was anything they could do to prevent the detention center. Oakwood city officials say they support ICE's mission to detain those with unlawful records, but they do not support how the purchase was made without local consultation or input.
The Latino community here is a valued part of our community. We do have in Hall County a large Latino population. And I don't know what their citizenship status is, but they work here. They spend their money here, they pay taxes here, and I can understand their concern.
So again, the DHS is pausing any new purchases for these ICE detention facilities, but the deal here in Oakwood, as well as a deal in Social Circle, is already done. So it's unclear exactly what will happen once those contracts are reviewed, as promised by the Department of Homeland Security. That's why we're keeping a very close eye on this. For now, live in Hall County, Mary-Kate Hamilton, Atlanta News First.